This is the third roundtable that I looked at on Sunday. This one obviously is this week with George Stephanopoulos.
In our shared mission to make America great again, I support and endorse our Speaker of the House, Paul Ryan.
After waffling all week, Trump finally came around to endorse House Speaker Paul Ryan Friday night, as well as Republican Senators John McCain and Kelly Ayotte, all up for re-election in November. So was it convincing enough for Republicans, and can he bring the party together? Let's bring in our roundtable. You're all laughing. Republican strategist and CNBC contributor Sarah Fagan, TV One host and managing editor Roland Martin, ABC News Cokie Roberts, and our chief political analyst Matthew Dowd. And let's start with you, Matt. I know we were all laughing at Donald Trump's smirk, but he has had a rough couple of days, beginning with the Khan family. He went on from there. Clinton's bounce in the polls. Do you think he's changed? Do you think this has changed anything?
Oh, no. I mean, he hasn't changed. The race has somewhat changed and adjusted. We'll see how long-lasting it is. I mean, before all of this, before the last 2 weeks, the equilibrium of this race was about a 3 or 4 point Hillary Clinton lead. Now the question is it a 7 or 8 point Hillary Clinton lead in the course of this? I think the thing about Donald Trump at that press conference, as I said yesterday, he seemed like a tranquilized circus lion that had bitten too many people in the audience. And then watching him, and I endorse what Speaker Ryan, I mean, it was amazing to watch in the course of that. I don't think the voters care about that. The elites do in the chattering class of the...
But should he be worried? Now,
about the election?
Absolutely.
I don't think you can find anybody that's won the popular vote that's been in this position after the convention's this far down and actually gone on to win the popular vote.
And Giuliani said later that someone else was ahead, but that was before the Republican convention.
Michael Dukakis was quite ahead.
But it was before the Republican convention.
But the other thing is that the numbers in this poll that really struck me, other than the fact that white men have a lot of answering to do, is that cares about people like you. That is a key question. Hillary Clinton was up 20 points on that. And that is often the question that tells you whether somebody's going to...
But let's talk about money, Cook. Let's just talk about money here first. $74 million in cash on hand, raising $82 million last month, he says, including $36 million from small donors. So there's the irony there. What does that tell you?
That tells you that the people who are for him and are willing to give him money. And what it also tells you is that the Republican politicians will stick with him a little bit longer because they're worried about those people. They're worried about his voters. They're worried about his money. They're worried about their base. But you had at the same time Republican columnists and commentators saying your grandchildren will call you wicked if you support him. So it's been a very mixed picture.
Let me go to this. When Trump endorsed Ryan, McCain, Ayotte, he seemed to be staying on message. He really did. So even with the smirk, I am
endorsing Ryan and Ayotte. I love this here.
So
that wasn't convincing.
So have his advisor, maybe, it's a step in the right direction for him. So have his advisors gotten to him? Can he stay on message?
It might last 24 hours. I mean, look, this is a guy who wants to be whiner in chief. I mean, he complains about everything. The issue is this: can he deal with issues? Remember, what did Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell say? He doesn't know a lot about the issues out there. That's what he, at some point, has to focus on. You can wing this thing. You can just sort of talk in broad terms. But at some point, we have to get down to the nitty-gritty. When you talk about care about those everyday people, what does he do this week? He appoints a team of economic advisors, all men, all hedge fund guys.
Right.
Tell me how that's going to work. Clinton did this in her speech when she broke down where his products are made. If I'm the Clinton campaign, I walk on stage with a cardboard cutout and go, tie in this country, build in this country,
That's what she's doing.
You're regular?
And then everybody's going to look back at her clothing. Sarah, what do you...
The challenge is these conventions are an inflection point in this campaign. And this is when voters start to tune in. And the Democrats had a much better convention than Donald Trump. And he has performed incredibly poorly since his convention. And so he is not passing an acceptability threshold. she is such a weak candidate. You saw it again just yesterday where she was stumbling over her answers on how she handled her email controversy.
And what about him tweeting about her short circuit and brainwashing?
Unhinged.
Unhinged, saying that he questions her mental fitness.
Right.
Nobody in America questions her mental fitness.
But they question his.
They do question her honesty.
They question her honesty.
But that's
right.
just about unhinged and she doesn't look presidential is totally code for we shouldn't elect a woman. That is exactly
I don't know if I agree entirely with that, but
I was there Friday, okay? Clinton campaign, follow me. Take the loss. You're not going to win this. I don't understand why smart people want to somehow think I can convince everybody that what I did right. Take the L. You're not going to win this one. Just simply say, I made a mistake. Comey actually has come out. We shouldn't have done it. I had to do it again. I wouldn't do it.
But the broader point
she doesn't do that.
To me, watching the last 2 weeks demonstrates something very clearly, which is when Donald Trump right now is in the news media, he is not doing well. When Hillary Clinton is outside of the news media and not in the press, she rises in the polls. We've seen that for 8 years in the course of her life.
That's right.
She ran in 2008. When she was out of the media, she rose. When she's in the media, she is an awful candidate. Everybody knows it. The Democrats know she's an awful candidate. She's not liked. She's not trusted. The positive for her is she's running against a worse candidate in the course of. That's why I think we ought to be paying a lot more attention to the 2 third-party candidates in this race.
Well, let's go back a little during the week. We had some disastrous things said in the beginning, according to critics of Donald Trump, and then there was the pushback. Reince Priebus was said to be apoplectic. So what did the Republican establishment do now? Certainly, it looked calmed down at the end of the week. Sarah.
Well, what the Republican establishment are talking about, which is troubling for Donald Trump, is at what point do they publicly and openly start to use as an argument that we need to save the Senate, we need to save the House of Representatives? And those conversations are happening in back rooms in Washington right now because of the way he's performed. I agree with Matt. I think this week was so bad for him. You have an equilibrium that is about 8 points. What Donald Trump needs to do and what they need to be talking to him about is he needs to start to think about passing a threshold of acceptability to get this race closer, to put this in a position where he can be competitive with her by 2 or 3 or 4 points.
But he can do that.
But is the Republican Party falling apart in all this?
Well, they're not happy, obviously, and they are having tremendous battles within the party. And you have somebody like Paul Ryan, where the voters have been so revved up against him by Donald Trump and his supporters that his family is being threatened. Now that's, a terrible turn of events. But I think that Trump can bring it back around. A couple of things can happen. Events can happen in the course of the campaign that bring people to him. She can make blunders that can bring people to him. And the debates can make a tremendous
And what would bring people to him?
And that might be the place where he meets the threshold.
I think the only point left where he can change this race, it's not going to be through television ads. It's not going to be through a series of red speeches that look so out of touch. It's a debate. And the interesting thing now is Trump needs these debates a lot more than she does. I think the first sign you're going to see in what Sarah's talking about is if I were advising Republican candidates, I would say put up ads and put out messages that say, I'm here to stop Hillary Clinton. I'm here to put a break on the Hillary Clinton presidency. When you start seeing that, that's when you start seeing the fray. And the Republican Party, it's been hostily taken over by Donald Trump. There is no national Republican Party anymore.
But there's something deeper going on here.
The biggest problem is your candidate has to actually have something to say. And so when you have a candidate who still refuses to break down any policy issue, whether it's education, whether it's the economy, whether it's jobs, blanket statements are not going to work right now. It's not going to work, and that's what he's survived on. He goes to those debates, he gets nailed.
There's something deeper going on, and Donald Trump is a reflection of what's going on within the base of the Republican Party, which is Charles Murray wrote this great book in 2012 called Coming Apart, which was a analysis of white America. And you see the great divide that is occurring between college-educated white America and non-college educated white America. Donald Trump is going to win non-college educated whites by a greater margin than any Republican candidate in previous elections. Hillary Clinton is going to win college-educated whites for the first time in 60 years.
Right.
You're shaking your head.
I'm shaking my head about those white voters who are not college educated because you're getting bamboozled. You can't have a guy who's talking about trade and the jobs, and you look at the economic team who, frankly, is totally opposite of what he actually says. So I get the people.
There's an understanding of why there's an understanding. Listen, there's an understanding of why they're going to Trump, right? They've been lied to and misled by both political parties.
And I heard again and again, he's telling us what we want to hear. If I say, do you believe him? They say maybe not.
For 40 years, they've seen no increase in their pay. For 40 years, through Democratic administrations and Republican administrations.
Which is why
Hillary Clinton should be spending her money almost exclusively on get out the vote of minorities and women, and forget all this TV ads. Look at Jeb Bush, $150 million in TV ads, and he got 2% of the vote.
And Cookie, I want to very quickly talk about President Obama this week, who said that Donald Trump is unfit to be president. That's unprecedented.
Well, but we're seeing that from all kinds of people. I mean, you had Mr. Morell on earlier saying the same thing, a former CIA director. You had, you know, and you see it, as I said earlier, from these conservative columns.
Can that backfire?
No. You got two former presidents, both last name Bush, who are Republican, who will not endorse the GOP candidate. Forget what the president had to say. That speaks volumes right there.
Very quickly.
I have to say, it's a little Mike Morell and some of the former Bushes who got us involved in the Iraq War, and Mike Morell, who actually apologized to Colin Powell for false information in Iraq War that cost us thousands of lives and trillions of dollars, and who actually defended torture. For him to criticize Donald Trump as being unfit for the most serious errors we've made, I think they ought to just stand down a little bit on that.
But if they've been in this spot, they have credibility, and that plays.
To make huge mistakes like they have.
And we're going to leave it there. We're going to leave it there. You guys take it out in the green room. After the break.
Okay, so that's the ABC roundtable. I got one left to do. That'll be Fox.